Hello, I am Emil Santos from De La Salle University, Manila. On behalf of my co-author, Dr. Raymond Vergara, I will be presenting our paper entitled Bringing the Fun in Collecting Experiences. This presentation will discuss the key parts of the research. I will be kicking off the discussion with a brief introduction of the study, followed by the theoretical and conceptual frameworks, methodology. Then I will dive into the results and discussion before closing with the conclusions. According to Slate, collecting enhances brand loyalty. However, there is still much to learn about collecting from a marketing context, specifically in terms of brand-specific collecting experience. Understanding the social collecting behaviors and how they may affect individual collecting behavior is still limited. To add to that, there are no frameworks or paradigms that can describe experience up to date. Understanding these is important, especially since it can open doors to a lot of new marketing techniques. And so with those in mind, the focus of the study is to further the said discussion and to describe the experience of Filipino Funko Pop collectors. In doing so, it also attempts to provide groundwork for the development of an experience framework through the following questions. Number one, how do individual collectors make purchase and collecting decisions? Number two, how does the collecting community affect the individual collecting behavior? To describe an experience is to tell a story. In a story, the character setting and plot shall always be present so that the readers or listeners can easily understand what is happening. The same goes in understanding the collecting experience. This study makes use of combination of Kinney's Disney delivery system and Grossman and Durden's 6 elements of experience escape. The Disney delivery system is composed of 3 systems, namely cast, setting, and processes. While Grossman and Durden's 6 elements of the experience escape are people, place, objects, rules, relationships, and blocking. These 2 frameworks were combined and were then identified in the study as the characters who are the people involved and their motivations to participate in the collecting experience, setting of the collecting experience which identifies the place, time, and objects. And lastly, the plot, which identifies the relationships and how it influences their experience, the rules that govern their interaction, and blocking of people, place, and objects that play a role in the collecting experience. To conduct the study, we used a qualitative case-based approach where we ultimately gathered data from multiple primary and secondary resources. Our secondary resources covered relevant online content regarding Funko, starting with their website and social media channels, and further branching out to other online sources, including magazine articles, documentaries, and even group pages where individuals discuss Funko Pop-related content. Meanwhile, for our primary data collection, 2 phases were planned and implemented. Phase 1 involves semi-structured and in-depth interviews with people who identify themselves as Funko Pop collectors. The first phase eventually resulted in 9 respondents individually interviewed with responses that helped us construct and enhance our activity for phase 2, which was to distribute online survey questionnaires. With the similar target respondents from phase 1, we were able to garner 320 responses, of which 226 were accepted. Out of the 226, 70% considered themselves as Funko Pop collectors. The survey questionnaire contained open-ended questions that explore collectors' motivations, perceptions, and overall collecting behavior. They were also asked to rate positive statements using a 5-point Likert scale, using extreme measures, strongly agree or strongly disagree to prevent neutrality among the responses. Statements that received above 5% disagreement were noted. In the collecting experience, the Funko Pop collectors are the main characters. The collecting community is made up of the following. Number 1, fellow Funko Pop collectors. Number 2, Funko Fanatic Philippines or FFP. Number 3, Funko Trading Philippines. Number 4, Funk and its brand representatives. And 5, Funko retailers. To make a collection, there must be at least 2. Collectors either purchased their first collectible or acquired it as a gift. Their fascination and strong interest in the first collectible encouraged them to purchase a second one. To some, having 2 collectibles is already considered a collection. But why do people collect? According to the results, 52% of the respondents shared that it provided them psychological security, 31% said it's in relation to self, and 18% considered aesthetic quality of the toy. All research by Belk suggests that these collectibles are tangible reminders of what they love and are extensions of oneself. Self-identification motivation are categorized into 4 categories, which explain how collectors decide which figure to buy. Number 1, self-verification, who they are. Number 2, identify signaling, who they want others to see. Number 3, uniqueness, who they aspire to be. And number 4, nostalgia, who they were. For example, many collectors collect Funko Pop figures that remind them of their childhood. To others, collecting is a form of financial investment that earn value over time. Some collectors seek out limited edition or exclusive collectibles that are certain to increase in value in the future. Moving on to setting the collecting experience, collectors engage with the collecting community various in-person events that are fan-sponsored like the FFP Christmas Party or brand-sponsored like the Funko Fun Days. Some also attend pop culture convention like San Diego Comic Convention, visit brick and mortar stores, or simply engage in online community forums that websites, mobile apps, social media, or virtual events. The Funko Pop is a core product of Funko, designed to appeal to a mass market and is licensed over a wide range of interests such as movies, televisions, music, games, and many more. They are solid in major retailers in the US, specialty hobby stores worldwide, in online stores. Collectors also generate social media contents brought through blogs, videos, and posts, as well as actively seeking out accessories for their figures. In the final section, we discuss the plot of the collecting experience. Notably, there are 3 subsectors that explain the collector's way of interacting with one another: rules, relationships, and blocking. Starting with rules, this refers to customs, expectations, or norms actively observed by the community that influence their collecting activities. For one, when acquiring their collectibles, respondents agreed that journey to acquire the figures are just as valuable and even add more to their collectibles worth. Using events and conventions as an example, collectors would go out of their way to attend these in order to obtain exclusive or limited edition figures. This process of carefully searching adds to the fulfillment collectors feel once processing the collectible. Second, once acquired, collectors value collectibles that are in mint condition, from figures and even up to packaging, because they believe that packaging is part of the collectible itself. While others see it as an indication of the figure being a limited or standard edition, some are not as particular, keeping figures out of the box for display or for sharing on social media, but ultimately storing the boxes as well when not used. The next subsection discusses how relationships affect the collecting experience in this case. Social media has helped greatly in the interactions and engagements of both collectors and retailers. Individuals in collecting communities get to share their stories, provide advice and answers, forum questions, and overall discuss their interaction and passions freely with one another. Social media has also helped with customer and seller relationship, wherein retailers have the chance to discuss limited edition announcements, acquisition procedures, and waitlist updates directly to their customers. Finally, blocking discusses how collectors interact within the setting of collecting experience. 2 behaviors specifically surfaced among the respondents. The first, termed as the social collecting behavior, is where collectors trade and network both domestically and internationally, thanks to online channels, motivating cross-country exchanges and worldwide engagement. The second, termed as the solitary collecting behavior, is when a collector is not interested to openly interact, referring to gathering information on Funko Pop products by researching through other parties and sources. They will also equally display and admire other collections as a form of socialization. In conclusion, the study discovered that there are several factors that greatly influence the collecting experience. First, we now understand that collecting is an experience motivated by personal pursuits. Collecting is a way to affirm oneself emotionally and psychologically. which ultimately drives their purchase and collecting decision, further seen through their selection criteria. Second, in the process of collecting, being part of a collecting community can influence an individual's collecting behavior itself, making it more social as they learn more about the collectible through engaging with others. With increased interaction, unspoken rules and rituals are then implemented. Lastly, even the brands themselves can enhance the experience of collectors by providing said spaces where the community can interact, such as online or offline events, get together, and more. Thank you.